Self-Governance for the Rest of Us. October 13, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. Having a right to do something does not equal doing it. I can have the right to pick blueberries on my neighbor's farm, because we have a written contract between us allowing that, but if I don't hike up the hill where the blueberries grow at the appropriate time of year and actually bend down and flex my fingers and pick the berries off the bush, it doesn't matter that I have the right to do it. It's not my neighbor's fault if I fail to exercise my right to pick blueberries. I have the right, but to accrue the benefit of it, I have to exercise my right by taking actions of various kinds. I have to locate the berry patch. I have to notice the time of year. I have to find a pail. I have to hike up the hill. I have to exert myself to bend down, and I have to move my fingers to pluck the berries and put them in the pail. It's the same way with the American government. You have the right to organize it and operate it and enforce its laws and do all else that is necessary, but if you don't do it, guess what? It doesn't matter what you say. You can talk about blueberries and argue over where the best patch is and whether or not you should use a pail or a basket for the rest of your lives, but unless you get yourself up that hill and actually pick berries, it's academic. It's the same way with the American government. You can huff and puff and talk about your rights all day long. You can argue about the meaning of unalienable and inalienable. You can make all sorts of claims about your rights, but it is not a matter of what you say, it's a matter of what you do. I have raised the alarm and pointed out the fact that you are being misidentified as a foreign citizen, and that as a foreign citizen, you lose your rights as an American. Things have slipped a cog beyond just not exercising your right to self-govern. If you don't object and correct these falsified political status records, you won't have the right, even in theory, to walk up the hill and pick blueberries anymore. If you don't answer these false claims, you will lose your right to self-govern, and your failure to exercise your right will result in denial that you have the right to do so. So correcting these registrations and recording your counterclaims and serving notice on the perpetrators making presumptions about you and about your political status choices, that is job one. And this is why everyone needs to go through the effort to reclaim your political status as an American state national, and everyone also needs to step forward and populate your lawful state assembly. You have to take the action to self-govern before you can claim to be self-governing. People in a majority of states of the Union have done this already, and have populated their actual state government as a result. They are, in fact, exercising their right to self-govern at a state level. Their unincorporated Federation of States, the United States of America, is now fully operable. Why? Because people have done the work to self-govern. They have made the effort to not only exercise their own rights, they have empowered their government of the people, for the people, and by the people by taking the necessary action to do so. They walked up the hill. They bent down. They picked the berries. If you consider yourself an American and you were born within the borders of one of our states, and you are not directly and actually employed as a federal military or civilian service employee, you can do the same. The actual government of this country is not an exclusive group. You don't have to do anything beyond waking up and reclaiming your birthright political status to be recognized as an American state national. And having gotten that far, you need to take additional action and accept the rest of the work of self-governance. To do this, you accept your responsibility to act as an American state citizen. You agree to act as a juror and stand as part of your state jural assembly. You agree, if you are able, to serve as part of the state militia. You may even have to serve an elected state office or county office. Generally speaking, we all know what it takes to pick blueberries, but on a stormy day, it might take a raincoat. You agree to take the actions and accept the responsibilities that go with self-governance, or you are just talking about picking blueberries and eating blueberry pies. And that simple fact is what is escaping so many would-be patriots. They like to strut around and talk about their rights, but they aren't even taking the most elemental steps to correct the identity theft fraud that has been practiced against them by their federal employees. They spout endlessly about these rights, but not about the responsibilities and actions necessary to exercise those rights, and they take no actual, factual, sufficient, and necessary action to self-govern this country. As a result, their rights remain stuck in the airy-fairy realm of yes, you have the right, but exercising that right and actually self-governing requires more than talking about it. Nobody is keeping anyone from walking up this hill and exercising their rights. The doors to the state assemblies stand open, waiting for all these patriots to come home and straighten out their political status records, fill all the jury pools, occupy the vacant offices, and do the actual work of self-governance. Without which, they are stuck standing under foreign governments, presumed to be foreign citizens in their own country, and generally speaking, up a creek without a blueberry in sight.